Action.
We're doing extremely well. Well done. Here's our school teacher, headmaster in the primary school.
Salad champions this week.
Nick Banwell and Jean Cobbett are head teachers in 2 small schools in Devon. Nick is head at Widecombe-in-the-Moor in the heart of the Dartmoor National Park. The school has 75 children in 3 classes. Jean's school, Burrington Church of England Primary, is located in a small farming community in North Devon. It has just 32 children in 2 classes. Small schools, those with fewer than 100 pupils, face potentially huge problems from limited budgets, limited numbers of staff and children, and isolation in rural communities. So is there anything that other teachers can learn from them?
Can you hear us? Yes, we can. You can?
In this programme, we'll see how Burrington and Widecombe have found creative solutions to the potential problems of funding, staffing and relative isolation to deliver considerable benefits to their children.
Opportunity.
The greatest problem for the small school is staffing.
And what do you mean by that word, conductor?
With only 75 children, Widecombe's head, Nick Banwell, can employ the part-time equivalent of only 3 full-time teachers.
We don't have full-time teachers in any class, so each class sees a number of teachers, 2 or 3 teachers each week.
Why are saucepans made of metal? You're going to talk about the...
Part-time teacher, Gabby Ross, is part of Nick's solution.
What would be a really silly material for a saucepan to be made from?
The fire from underneath, it will go underneath it, and then it will go through the metal, and then you can get the food.
There's quite a ridiculous one, that's carpet. If you made a saucepan out of carpet, that'd be a bit...
Because over my time we've had vacancies, we've appointed 3 other teachers. They've all been part-time. I could have merged them and I could have changed things around to give specific teachers to one class, but I've purposely veered away from that because I do think that's a real strength.
Carpet would be really silly. Why though? Why?
Because it kind of leak out the bottom.
It might leak out the bottom.
Yeah.
What about the heat?
It would burn.
It would burn.
And it would...
Gabby shares the class with Kate Edwards.
And that is, how far is it from your house to the school? If you're going home with a mum or a dad or a gran or somebody, you might be able to keep an eye on the kilometres. How about if you were going back on the bus? How do you find how many kilometres away from school you are like that? We do a lot of communication, don't we? Yeah. Either by email or when we see each other on the days when Gabby's in teaching 5 and 6 to make sure that all the sort of the information on the sort of pastoral side gets passed on both ways, and about planning as well, because obviously Gabby teaches numeracy and literacy on a Friday morning, so that's usually picking up my planning from the week, or sometimes doing discrete lessons as well. How could you find out?
Ask the bus driver.
Ask the bus driver. OK. Ask the bus driver to keep an eye on how many kilometres it is from when you leave the school gate to when they drop you. One of the things about having part-time teachers, we bring in particular strengths or specialisms into the school. The children gain because they get the stimulus from extra teachers coming in.
Who can tell me why they think saucepans are made of metal?
It would be the metal because the metal would warm up from the fire, and it would go through the metal and it would warm up the water.
Any class has different levels within it, even a single year class. And with a mixed age class, you just become more aware of it. And you have to obviously match the objectives. So your planning means that you have to go back and look at the objectives and match them. But actually, it works out.
I'm going to go around the class and ask them if they thought of any really good, silly saucepans. What would be a really silly material? I'll go round and ask every pair. We'll start with Georgia.
Wood.
You thought wood would be a silly saucepan idea. Why was that, Georgia?
If you put it over the fire or something, it would burn. Cling film and carpet.
Okay. Very silly. So, hello. Are you Okay.
Because I'll be teaching him for 4 years, I'm trying to learn to cue speech. But I've only had 2 lessons so far. He's helping me.
Good.
So at Widecombe, what could have been a potential problem has become an enriching learning experience for the teachers as well as the children.
Okay.
It might be that she's not.
Of course, even a dedicated part-time team can't provide everything, and Widecombe uses its close relationships with other schools for more specialist teaching.
We work with some teachers from South Dartmoor who are specialised in sports or whatever area, because we have, it's not only just in sport this week, we have during our art week we'll have some art teachers coming out. The children get very excited when the teachers from the big school come out, and it gives our children a great experience, but it also gives the teachers who are not used to such an environment as this, it gives them the opportunity to get to know our children, get to know where they're coming from, so they can place Widecombe when they start working with children from our school when they join South Dartmoor.
OK, that side, let's go.
These sessions of tag rugby are being taught by Becky Mason, a sports specialist from the local comprehensive school at South Dartmoor.
You come up here, yeah? Yeah, or you go that way then. That's brilliant. Yeah, remember that line, that diagonal line, so behind the ball. OK, space out, guys. Ready? Let's play. Go, Meg. Good girl. Look where the players are, Megan. Woo! She's tagged. Go, Rob. Good boy. Great play, Barney. Good defending.
So at Widecombe School, they're finding creative solutions to the problem of staffing. How does Jean Cobbett at Burrington deal with the same problem in a school with just 32 children?
We all take responsibility. We're all not only teachers but we're learners, and that we can work together and we recognise each other's expertise. And there are times when, as the head, I may have to make a decision, but there are other times when, as the head, I will step back and somebody else will make a decision because it's their area of expertise. And I very much like the flattened hierarchy that we've tried to import here, where everybody has, they feel very valued and that they have a real contribution to make, whoever they are. And I'm talking about staff generally there, not just the teaching staff. I think everybody here has a huge contribution to make to the education of children.
If you've got your own conker, we'll use those later. Knowing Ben, he's probably soaked that in vinegar and all sorts.
Jeff Adams is one of those people who contribute. He works part-time. Here he's teaching environmental studies through an initiative called Forest School.
I like to think of it break down to like 3 distinct areas really. One is certainly a curriculum area, which is based on something which they are doing this term in school. Another one would be campcraft skills, and another one would be PHSE, group work, individual skills, working together, that type of thing. So within those 3 areas we develop the activities. That is special glue that will not come off now, and he's stuck on there. He can't let go of that at all. It's at least 10 minutes before you're allowed to let go of that. That's really stuck on. See if you can tie that knot without letting go of that end.
Today, Jeff's working on knots and rope skills.
Forest School really began, I suppose, in this country about 5-6 years ago, whereby it was really imported from Scandinavia. Denmark really is where it tended to originate from. And I came across the idea about 2 or 3 years ago by talking to other people.
The start of the reef knot, yeah, he's done the overhand knot.
And got myself involved in a course, which I went on and got qualified, and then started to do it at the schools I was employed at.
You can help him, but you mustn't let go.
In many ways it's still a pilot, and I think it will be for certainly probably throughout this year, but as other schools are taking it on and we're starting to mix together, talk together, and a network has been started in Devon as well, where people can communicate with each other, then we're starting to pool ideas and move forward in the same way, really, with shared ideas.
Fantastic. 10 minutes up, yeah?
OK, make your loop.
Is it?
Yeah, you've done it. Well done.
And there's a very useful role for this knot. Most children know how to play conkers. Not many know how to tie a knot that stops the conker slipping through the string. The figure of 8, or stop knot, does just that.
OK, I'm going to take aim. I'm not going to hit it, but OK. And then I will hit it like that. Okay.
What happens if someone hits it? Do you hit it until it breaks?
No, you have one hit, and then you swap over.
Of course, Burrington, like every other school in the country, would like more money. The area the children use for their forest school is quite small, but to develop the site, they have to find ways of raising the money and the resources they need.
Dear Sir or Madam, we are a small rural village school in Devon. We are desperate for a larger area in which to create our forest school. In our forest school, we learn about many fantastic plants and animals. We aim to play many assorted activities and games.
Let's have a look, pull it tight.
It's better than being in the classroom and doing boring things in the classroom. It's good to get outside.
It will help us to develop survival skills that might come in use in the future. We need the right equipment, otherwise we won't be able to do all the fun things that we can do.
1, 2, 3, move. Oh, very good. Oh, Harriet. Okay, 1, 2, 3, change. That's 1, 2, 3, change. Very good.
We are in our last few years at Burrington and really desire to leave with a smile because we have obtained our dream.
Our forest school, FOREST. Thank you once again for all the help and effort that you are putting towards the school. Thank you. Yours sincerely, the children of Burrington School.
It's the tiny numbers in a small school that present another challenge. How can children acquire enriching experiences from each other when there are so few of them? For children at Burrington, lunchtime has become part of the solution to this problem.
We're a very small school. We only have 32 pupils here altogether. So we have to address those issues around socialisation, which bigger schools can address much more easily within a classroom situation. And one of the ways we've done that is we've introduced a family table situation where the older children and the younger children sit together. The older children help the younger children, and they're very much encouraged to be a team.
There was no cucumber in there today. So what do you want? Some lettuce?
Yeah.
Can you fork them?
I'll give her my cucumber. I get my fork to eat.
Yeah, because we haven't got a salad today. That's why. Right, there you are.
We offer trophies for teamwork, for manners, for how they've helped each other through the week. And certainly the older children are encouraged to help the younger ones with to encourage them to eat properly, to clear up so that they're all working together, so that they leave what is the classroom nice and tidy, ready for the afternoon. So very much giving the children the responsibility for their own lunch, basically. They help themselves to the food, they are responsible for clearing away afterwards, and they help each other as much as possible.
We work together as a team, and the big ones help little ones and the little ones help big ones sometimes. We help each other, we we look after the younger ones, and then sometimes the younger ones help us, she tells, oh God, I'll do it for you, if I eat some of this, will you eat some of that? So they encourage us as much as we encourage them. And we don't hardly fall out, but occasionally we do fall out.
It's time for the winner of the Table of the Week trophy this week. It goes to a table who've looked after a little boy who's only started in school this week, and they've been excellent at really helping him fit in. So Table of the Week this week is Sam's table. Well done. Would you like to come and get the trophy? Well done. Give them a clap.
Next now, Eden.
Salad champions this week. The only table who's managed to eat their salad every day this week. Tom's table. Well done. Would you like to come and get the trophy, Tom?
I know it.
Well done. Give them a clap. Well done.
They're going to call us in about 5 minutes.
Over at Widecombe, Nick Banwell uses new technology to help broaden his children's range of experiences. Nick has developed video conferencing so that pupils from Widecombe can talk to those from other schools.
Hello? Hello?
Where do the adults work on Dartmoor? My dad works in a pub. Dad's a wood turner. He makes sculptures out of wood. Which do you prefer, town or moor, and why? I prefer the moor because you get to go on long walks.
Yeah. I like the moor better because it's more adventurous and all the animals are there.
There's lots more flowers and you get to travel around and see all the environment rather than polluted areas with lots of litter in the towns. We sometimes get snow, but often we don't.
Okay.
Sometimes if you get really snowed in, our cars haven't worked and we'd stay at home.
Do you have any snow where you live?
We don't have any snow during the winter, but we may have some if we're very lucky. Bye! I think it's exciting to be able to communicate and have fun watching them from 40 or 30 miles away.
It's very interesting because you get to meet other people on the other line and other schools and see what they live like in somewhere else, really.
It's just one way of sharing ideas and experiences in isolated communities, but of course it could be used in a school of any size. So, video conferencing is helping overcome isolation at Widecombe, whilst Jean Cobbett and her staff at Burrington make a priority of encouraging contact between her 32 children and other people and cultures.
Do you remember the language that the Quran is written in, and the prayers? If we're lucky enough to hear some prayers today, you'll hear this sort of sung chant. I have played you a little tape. You remember the language?
Arabic.
Well done, you. Now, this is something a bit different here. Question, why are you wearing special clothes? When we pray, boys put on hats and the girls wear scarves. And the question is why?
Because we're showing respect.
For Allah.
Armed with a little knowledge of Islam, Jean and her staff are taking the children to Exeter to visit a mosque. Not too many school day trips require a train journey.
It's a good opportunity for me to see you and interact with you, and for you also to ask any questions and clarify anything which you may not understand. They would come here and then they would wash their face 3 times, hands 3 times, and also feet 3 times. So you also need to take off your socks when doing that. And then they would come and pray.
Do you talk about like the 8 gods?
Do we talk about?
Yeah, 8 gods.
We believe in one God, okay? We believe that God is one and God is eternal. We believe that God has no partners.
Do you read the whole of the book?
Yeah, yes, we do.
How many times do you read it?
We don't. We are supposed to read it, every day, bit by bit, as much as you can. Okay.
I feel this kind of visit is so vital for these children because coming from Devon, which has a very small ethnic population, I mean it's predominantly a white population, certainly in North Devon, and the village in which these children come from, they very rarely see anybody from any different races or religions. So I think it's vital that they have this kind of experience.
The person who actually tells the prayer sits there.
Yeah, you see, Imam, who is the leader of the Muslim community, he gives sermon, okay? And when he gives sermon, he would stand on that pulpit.
In these days of racial tension and unrest, I think it's really vital that we give them these experiences so that, we can, tolerance and understanding can all be generated from these kind of visits.
What is that, the big black,
okay, the big stone? This is a holy mosque, okay, of Kaaba. We believe that it was first built by Abraham, okay, Prophet Abraham, and with the help of his son Ismail. Both Prophet Abraham and Ismail, they built this mosque to worship God.
What's this?
The children have made that. It's a mosaic with lots of Islamic symbols on. And actually, I think you can probably read one of the symbols on the green tile on the bottom line. What do you think it says? Allah.
Having talked about the religion, the children now have the opportunity to experience it.
Just like if we were praying at school, we would be respectful of each other. So it's a time for reflection, really. You can be thinking about all the things you learned today.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله
I think you just have to be slightly creative. I mean, just getting here to rely on parents to take to the station, then the station. I mean, in one way it's easier because we can all just get on a train. You haven't got 30 children, you've just got 11. So that's easier in some ways, but in other ways, logistically, it's quite complex. But there's always a ways around it. You can always be creative. And I think the benefits of coming to somewhere like this outweigh any kind of difficulty you might have in arranging it.
I think it's quite different the way they pray, and they speak in Arabic instead of our normal language, so it's quite different.
It was quite fun because you never knew how it was to be a Muslim, like how they used to pray and how they used to talk, because when they pray they don't talk the same as we do. It's quite interesting because it's like they're very, very different. It's quite different how we pray and they pray. And they believe that God doesn't have children, but we believe that he does.
In the relationship with their local communities, Burrington and Widecombe begin to reflect the real, natural strengths of the small school.
We have really close links, real links with the community. The fact that I know all the families and that they come into school on a regular basis, have real contact. And I think that aspect is really special about a small school. It makes it very different from a larger school.
These impressive links with the community were reflected to the full in the school's approach to Armistice Day.
Miss Evans is a member of the community who helps with the school a lot. And we're going to ask her a few questions about the war and read her our poems and prayers.
How do you feel on Remembrance Day?
Very sad. Now, somebody's written a poem at the school called Feelings or Emotions, I think it was actually. And I think that says everything.
My grandpa got killed in World War II.
Oh dear.
I think he got shot in the leg really badly, something.
Mm. So you'll be thinking of him today?
Yeah.
Good girl.
No one wants war. War. Why do people fight? Just one war causes all of this. Lives are at risk. No one wants war. War is nasty.
And in the afternoon, the community was invited into the school to develop the theme.
Most schools have assemblies. We have an assembly every day, but the community assembly is a special one that we do once a term. And we invite not only the parents, but the community. So we have lots of villagers who will come in for that. It's advertised in the parish magazine so that they know about it. We have the vicar comes in. And we do get lots of just neighbours who will come and enjoy that. And it's a celebration of what the children have been doing.
Dear Lord God, I hope no one did die in the war. The poppies help me remember. Amen.
Amen.
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside.
So it's a celebration of their life, not only in school but in the community.
The school year at Widecombe starts with the Widecombe Fair. It's the traditional start to the year. The children take part in the races. The children have in the past taken part in drum workshops. The children practice their maypole.
Not every school, small or large, is lucky enough to have one of Britain's oldest country fairs on its doorstep. And in Widecombe, the school really throws its weight behind it.
They're just going to dance off. Please show your appreciation. They've had 4 days to practice. They've done a tremendous job. Children aged between 7 and 11 at Widecombe Primary School.
The annual fair provides a tremendous start to the school year. The children give a lot, and in return, the crowds help replenish the school coffers.
Come and guess how many mosaic tiles there are on our school sign made by the children.
Every little helps the budget.
And you win cash prizes and you help the school at the same time. Oh, thank you very much.
The recent Ofsted reports on Widecombe and Burrington show that they have survived and prospered as small schools, very much against the odds. So how do these two head teachers view the future for their sector?
I think small schools are very successful, and I think what we need to do is be more proactive in letting people know that. I think we can offer something very special, very different to what a large school can offer. I think by working together, by increasing cooperation between schools, especially small schools, so that we maybe share staff, share expertise, share equipment even, I think we can actually band together, and I think there's strength in numbers. And I think if we do that, we can give ourselves a stronger position.
Many small schools are facing falling roles. Many small schools find it hard to get a head teacher. Many small schools find it hard to get staff. So those are issues that need to be addressed. And many small schools are facing closure, when really I think that if people looked at the benefits of small schools, the education and the care and the opportunities they offer to people in a local community, they would realise that small schools have a real viable future.